What's up, guys? Welcome back. This is going to be another Sunday Market Blitz review. So, quick recap of what this is essentially. At the beginning of each week, we'll put out analysis on Sunday, showing you guys pretty much the expectations for the week and what we're seeing, and then with a full breakdown or explanation, and we'll go through it with you on that webinar on Sunday. And this is essentially the recap. So, this is looking back into the week, seeing how those analyses played out, seeing how accurate these were, and if any of this held true. So let's get into it. Usually these are at least like 60% right. Price action usually follows one of the two trade paths that we provide. But let's start off here with Angelo's analysis. So we're going to start off here on GU from March 27th. So again, this was Angelo's expectations for GU for the past week. Okay, we were looking at a key zone right here near 1.32 area, this zone right here, 318, right? We're looking to get below that, finally see structure in the form of a lower high below, and then a continuation downward. Let's see what he wrote for us. On the weekly time frame, we just formed a doji candle and at a resistance level, which means we could be in for some type of reversal here. We need to go down to the lower time frame in order to see how market structure is forming to interpret whether we should sell. On the 4-hour time frame, we are still in an uptrend. We need the 1.315 level to break in order to take short opportunities in line with the higher time frame trend. Okay, we will wait a break of structure here and wait for the retest before entering into this short opportunity. So exactly like we said, we're being safe here. We have a lot of other higher time frame trends lining up with this, so we wanted to be sure, and then we could definitely get into a high probability short scenario. So let's see how this played out. And it did exactly as we thought. It pushed down quite a bit, a little lower than we thought it would, but that is definitely caused to some high volume here. We did pull back, got the retest, nice rejection, actually 2 attempts at that, if you could see that secondary wick there. And then bearish conviction started to step in. So now price action is falling. This is kind of a mid-trade move right now. It's very likely that we'll continue down towards our TP around 1.3 for the rest of this week, or going into this week. So this will be interesting to see. GU definitely is playing out very, very well per this analysis. Let's jump over to GJ. It's going to be pretty similar. They are, fairly correlated. We actually do see that we've been moving upwards pretty dramatically here on GJ, which is actually the opposite of GU. So we did break key level at 157.5, right? We're looking for nice structure in the form of a higher low and then continuation upwards. Okay, very in line with the trend. So let's see what Angelo wrote for us. This is on the weekly time frame. Note that. Okay, so on the weekly time frame, we broke a resistance level that has not been broken since 2016. I'm expecting there to be a correction here as price action is above a major support level. Once price action retests 1575 level, then we will look for buy opportunity. So he's exactly right? When you see a high influx of volume, especially on a higher time frame, if there's so much volume, price action kind of forces you out to the higher time frames to see things a little more clearly. And this is just so over dramatic, right? Very, very much up here at a high, definitely due for a pullback to some degree. And this would be the perfect area. Nice confluence area, good area to catch a bounce, and then continue upward. So let's see how this played out. Again, not going to be too much movement here because this is the weekly time frame. We're only going to get that one candle. And we did just see a giant doji. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see for the next coming weeks, how this plays out. Ideally, it would sink a little bit lower into our support level. But, yeah, not much we can do with that yet. Kind of a waiting game when you get these higher time frame analyses going. So, Angelo here looked at UCAD. This one's also on the weekly. We're kind of tucked between these two levels here. We're ranging a little bit. 1248 or 125, and then 123 area, more like 1295. So clearly a range, lots of resistance, lots of support. Overall bearish on the higher time frames. Let's see what Angelo wrote on the weekly time frame. We have continued out move to the downside. We can see that last week closed with no week showing a lot of momentum here. Once price breaks the 1248 area, our next target will be 1234 and then 12. We want to enter on a lower time frames where there's a pullback to a key level. Okay, so there's not really much we can do within this range. Either it's going to bounce off this level or it's going to move lower and start giving us some structure below support. That would be nice. But yeah, really, while we're at this level here, you got to wait for reactions. Don't jump the gun. Wait for it to either break, come back, and then we could start dropping time frames if this really does get below, or if we see more of a reversal, we could drop time frames and get a better idea. Let's see how this played out. So yeah, it's still there, still reacting at support. Need to see this level either break or bounce, like we said. So we're still watching for this one. Interesting though. UCAD. All right, let's jump over to NU. This is going to be on the 4-hour time frame. So we're consolidating off the bat, right? Nice range. Angelo spotted this last week. This has been forming pretty good bullish structure, and he was, looking to continue with that. So let's see what he wrote on the weekly time frame. We could see that price is moving to the upside and forming a new higher high, breaking into an uptrend. We wanted to see a retracement to 069 level before taking any buy opportunities. And on the 4-hour time frame, we can see that price action is in a strong uptrend and just formed a higher low. We are seeing the formation of a rectangle pattern, which is a continuation pattern. Yeah, he's 100% right. So, we're looking at what the price action is showing us. We have to either see if this range fails, maybe it'll start to fall lower then, or if it's going to continue, which it looks like price action is suggesting. So let's see how it played out. Okay, so it actually dropped a little bit, pulled back, tested this level. Again, didn't get much below this, so it's still technically bullish on the higher time frames. I pushed up again to test this level here with the prior highs, and then it rejected. So this is kind of still stuck in the same area, but we're seeing a lot of volume. Obviously, it didn't continue to the upside. We'll have to reanalyze this Sunday and give you guys a new trade idea. But yeah, this one didn't play out, and that's trading, guys. That's how it goes. Not every single analysis is going to play out perfectly. You mark up an idea, you put in the work, you follow the pattern, the pair, looking for a trade, and then sometimes it just doesn't execute, and then you move on to the next one. And that's what happened here, right? Just didn't follow through. Decided that it still needed to pull back a little bit and mess around in this area. So nothing with NU this past week. Let's jump over to NAS. NAS was looking good. Very, very bullish. Just broke a key level here. This red zone resistance. And now it's forming pretty good structure, right? So it's formed a high here, came back, it was a higher low, new high. Here's the higher low testing the prior high, new high, and so on and so on. So it's pretty good structure. That's what we were seeing Sunday. So let's see what Angelo wrote. We were still riding this pair based on the last 2 weeks analysis. I had a clean break and retest on the 4-hour time frame, and now we should continue to take long opportunities. I agree. Based on this, on Sunday, it looks pretty good for longs for sure. So let's see how it played out. And he was 100% right. It continued straight to TP, gave us almost a 3.5 to 1 risk reward. So that's pretty good. Pretty good trade. It's coming back now a little bit. There'll be a new analysis from Angelo on this, but yeah, definite great long scenario there. All right, so let's jump over to the pairs that I analyzed last week, and we'll start off with DXY. So this one's on the 4-hour. Okay, we're stuck between a range, 2 major key levels, 99.25 resistance, 97.85 support. We're seeing this bit of a symmetrical triangle midway through this range, so nothing really there. It does strongly suggest a continuation, but we knew that we really got to break 99.25 for us to consider this in a bullish trend and really moving to higher highs, right? The most likely scenario was that price action would hit 99.25 and then react to some degree, maybe bounce or break, but too soon to tell if it's going to just continue, bullish from here. If this pattern did fail, we're looking for a lower high below the prior high or low right there, and then it'd be very likely that we'd hit support. Price action would fall down towards the 97.85 level, and then we'd reanalyze, looking for reactions off that support level. Okay, so let's play this forward, see how the week went. And it did exactly that. So it went for trade path 1 first, hit 99.25, reacted, and then tanked straight to 97.85, and then bounced again, pushing price action up back to pretty much where we started at the beginning of the week. Pretty much the same area, halfway between these two zones, right in the middle. So I'll come up with a new analysis for this Sunday. Ideally, we get some consolidation and then kind of more momentum, a stronger push to the upside, something that actually breaks 99.25, because we didn't see it here. It tried, but not actually, didn't break anything, So dollar still pretty much sideways. Again, still ranging between 99.25 and 97.85. Interesting stuff out of the dollar for sure. So let's jump over to AU. All right, so AU is overall bullish. We did see a break of 0.74. We ideally wanted to see structure, a nice higher low right above 0.74 would have been perfect. And that would have been the long scenario, right? We're continuing with the bullish trend. Higher time frames line up for, bullish. So that would be perfect. A lot of confidence behind a trade like that. However, if it broke 0.74, we're looking for a lower high below. And then, good conviction could lead us to believe that this was heading lower into key support levels. So let's see how this actually played out. Sideways movement. So this zone is actually still in play. We've just been testing that, and then resistance right here as well. So this is just consolidation. Price action is moving sideways. You could call it a range. We know how to play ranges, right? We're still looking for the higher low, ideally, or the range will break, and then we'll see break bullishly, and we'll just see price action rocket towards 0.76. Again, there'll be a new analysis for this one on Sunday, but these two trade paths are still pretty much valid as price action didn't do much. Just kind of went sideways. So we'll take another look at this in a couple of days. Let's jump over to AJ. Oh, AJ. What a pair. All right, so we're here on the daily time frame. I mean, this is just beyond overextended. Like, there's really no words for it. If we want to take a look here, gain some perspective. Remember, this is a currency pair. This is Australian dollar versus Japanese yen, and it moved 11%. It appreciated by 11% in how many days here? 25 days? That's pretty wild in a month, let's just say. 11% in a month, almost 1,000 pips. That's the definition of overextended, right? Super high volume, not much you can do with that. We needed structure, so I mean, ideally we want to see 61.8 hit. Lines up really well with 88 support. There's a key level there. That would be good, but either way, we're so far away from that happening. That's why we're here on the daily, on the higher time frame, because I mean, we're about 400 pips away from the zone before we even consider the idea of structure. So it's really, really sad to say can't take anything on AJ just yet, but let's see how this played out. So actually pushed up, it continued to push higher. So now the fibs would be extended closer to this area. We almost hit 95 resistance, and it looks like price action rejected pretty hard. It is starting to fall a little bit. Ideally, it keeps falling. It's got quite a ways to go before we, again, even consider structure. So not much to say about this one. I will reanalyze it on Sunday, but it's at the bottom of the list, real bottom of the list. There's not much you can do with this at all. But interesting to note, you don't see these kind of conditions that often. So AJ's been a wild ride. Kind of looks like King to Ka, to be honest. I think it's just straight up. All right, let's go over to UJ. UJ is similar. It's like the ugly cousin right now of AJ. There's not much you can do. Just super overextended. On Sunday, this was looking a little bit cleaner. So this one moved about 750 pips, 7% of its total value in half the time, 17 days. So that's pretty nuts. Pretty crazy movement. It is looking a little bit closer to structure. The 38.2 lines up pretty well with this 120 zone. So that was our ideal mark, right? We wanted to see price action pull back, retrace a little bit, maybe even consolidate. We wouldn't have minded that. But we just need structure, right? The market's got to chill out. It's got to relax. It's got to resume normal conditions. And that's just not what we're seeing right now. So we are here on the daily, so we're not going to expect too much. Maybe it started the pullback, but we'll see. Let's take a closer look, see what happened. All right, so this pushed up as well. Again, gave us the new high. This one hit 125, rejected super hard, and now is sinking down towards 120. So, this could be the pullback that gives us structure, that then gets us into a long opportunity, that then, validates a very strong bullish trend. We got to wait. So for all those other, things to happen, we need this to fall and then show us what we need to see first. If this does fail to give us a higher low above 120, look for a significant break below 120 with a lower high. You don't want to see a fake out, right? Don't get caught on that. These high volume moves can really screw you, especially on rejection. If this like looks like it's gonna be a break, and then you enter on it, and then it's like pulls all the way back, it's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt quite a bit. So really make sure that the zone's broken. You get the lower high. You want to see rejection as resistance, right? So wait for that and then get in, because this could fall quite a bit if you're patient. I mean, we're looking at 500 pips alone from 120 to 150 or 115, just about that, somewhere in there. So be patient with this one. UJ will definitely give us a big trade, whichever way it decides to go. I mean, it's got the volume. Now it just needs to prove it. So we'll be waiting on that. Again, that's the daily. These higher time frame analyses, you got to be patient with. And we like to jump up to the higher time frames only when we kind of get pushed out from volume. You can't see anything clearly on these high volume moves on like the 4-hour time frame or 1 hour. That's going to look like a mess. So this is really, how you got to do it. But let's jump over to EJ. Where there might not be good setups on some pairs, there will be some present on others. So that's why, you can't get uptight about, an analysis gone bad or a trade gone bad or something that doesn't look like, you could even get a trade for the foreseeable future, for the next week. There's no trade on a pair. That's because there's something else happening on other pairs. You got to move around, analyze a little bit. Don't get too hung up or too zoned in on one specific, pair or setup even. All right, so let's see what EJ was doing last week. So come Sunday, we saw that this was a very nice structure forming channel. Pretty. It looks tight, actually. I said this last week, right? Pretty tight channel, but the fact is, it's actually not. It's about 200 pips on these swings. So they're ranging quite a bit between 100, 200 pip swings, which is pretty large. Pretty large. So we were expecting this to continue, right? We didn't see that there was any major resistance yet. 135 was kind of an area to keep an eye on, but 137 was really our target. So we were expecting EJ to continue with its trend, run into some trouble up here at 137. By that point, we'd be out, and then follow price action depending on how it reacts from there. So this was very high probability trade. This was the nice higher low that just formed at the end of the week, and we were looking for this to continue up. Now, we knew if this channel failed, we weren't going to be bearish right away. We actually wanted to see 133 support break with the lower high below. So just like this, exactly how this trade path suggests, price action falls below, retests, rejects resistance, and then drops. So that's what we needed to see to happen to be confidently bearish. So we were a ways away from that. Needed to prove quite a bit. Let's see how it played out, though. Okay, so exactly as we thought, it actually took off like immediately that Monday, that night rather, Sunday night, just took off, absolutely took off into Monday. Yeah, crazy. Rocketed straight to 137, rejected pretty hard from there, then started kind of flatlining. You see the volume dropped off. Like, look at the size of these candles here, right? Absolutely huge. And then these candles are like, 1/5 to, 2/3 the size. So that's a huge decrease in volume, hinting that price action is kind of running into trouble. It's trying to make up its mind where it wants to go. Okay, so we experienced that consolidation for a little while, and then price action broke this low, and then retested right here. So we're kind of in the midst of a retest. This could be looking bearish for the week ahead, down towards 133. We'll see. I'll have to reanalyze this Sunday and then present it to you guys. But this looks pretty good. I mean, EJ's been forming good structure, as you guys can see. There's been some trades here. And then this was a really good one. I mean, what was this? 3-1, 250 TP, risking about 83 pips. So phenomenal trade there on EJ. Not bad at all. Let's jump over to gold. This is going to be the final one that I'm actually covering for you guys. Okay, and this one was overall bullish on the weekly, bearish on the daily, and bullish on the 4-hour. Why does it say bearish? I meant to write bullish there, because this is obviously bullish, right? We broke this lower high here, got a quick retest. It's moving up. This is clearly bullish 4-hour structure. So on Sunday, it looked like this new higher low right here had formed, and we were just super close to an entry, right? We just need a couple more confirmations. Just need to see 1 or 2 more candles, even on the 1 hour. That's where we'd be looking at this point, because it's so close to execution. And the likelihood here was that we were going to hit 2,000 again, right? Nice break and retest to the upside. Good transition of the 4-hour time frame. Next target was 2,000. It made sense. So this was over a 3-1. We're getting about 650 pips, risking just under 200. For this to all go bad, this whole long scenario to go bad, and us to see this as more bearish, we need 1930 to break below, confirm lower high, and then we could consider shorts down towards like 1870 area. But let's see how this played out. See what happened? So it pushed up, gave us the higher low, failed to follow through, was super close to an entry, but failed at the last second. Bearish engulfing stepped in, tanked price action back below 1930, pulled up, and now it's reacting at this zone. So we'll have to wait for reactions at 1930. This is actually going to make for a really clear analysis you could see already that I'll present to you guys on Sunday. But yeah, I mean, real quick, we could touch on this. So this is one of those trades where everything kind of lines up perfectly. I would call this a 8 out of 10 trade because we didn't get those final confirmations. But everything else lined up perfectly, right? We had a nice little pattern. We had a key zone. We broke above that. We broke a minor structure level. We even got a retest. A little bit of consolidation as well with increased volume. Another higher low. And then up to that last candle, that's what we needed. And it all went bad there. So, you can't even be mad at it. Even if you entered early, you should have seen that engulfing, especially on the 4-hour, interpreted it as an exit signal, and then move on to the next trade. So these are the trades where I see people experiencing a lot of psychological issues with. They'll get emotional about this because you're doing everything perfectly, right? And you should be rewarded if you're, doing something right, and it's a learning process. But trading's difficult in that sense. You got to be able to cope with the losses and know that you did everything right. So that's it. I moved on from this trade, gold, whatever. Didn't play out. Not the first time we've seen it. There'll be another one. And look what's happening. This week's setting up really nice. Gonna have a really good opportunity, maybe even more of an opportunity shorting this. So we'll see. That's the beauty of trading is there's always another trade, always another week, guys. Yeah, just like this next week. We're gonna do another analysis on Sunday, fresh new Sunday market blitz, and tear the week up and see what we are forecasting or expecting for the week ahead. All right, guys, so that's another Sunday market blitz review. Again, I'll see you guys Sunday. Until then, take care, enjoy your weekend. Peace.